Heads up, because The View is live. Comey don't play that.
I have no information that supports those tweets.
The FBI director debunking Trump's live tweets in real time during yesterday's hearing. And Tomi Lahren takedown? The backlash continues over her appearance on The View. Why she was suspended by The Blaze. Plus, the sizzling Joe Manganiello talks about going from the
Yesterday, FBI Director James Comey told the House Intelligence Committee there is no information about President Obama wiretapping Trump Tower, wiretapping Trump's car, wiretapping Trump's wife. He has not done his microwave. He hasn't done anything to Trump, okay? And they are investigating, however, Russian involvement in the election. He even answered one of you-know-who's tweets in real time. Look at this.
Thanks to the modern technology that's in front of me right here, I've got a tweet from the president an hour ago saying the NSA and FBI tell Congress that Russia did not influence the electoral process. So that's not quite accurate, that tweet.
I'm sorry, I haven't been following anybody on Twitter while I've been sitting here.
I can read it to you. It says the NSA and FBI tell Congress that Russia did not influence the electoral process.
Well, it's hard for me to react to that. Let me just tell you what we understand the state of what we've said is. We've offered no opinion, have no view, have no information on potential impact because it's never something that we looked at.
These people are sitting there. They have to be saying, am I in an SNL skit that they're responding to this guy's tweet? This is craziness. And what's even funnier is that, because I was watching the hearing, so I'm watching everything unfold, and then I'm looking at Donald Trump's Twitter, and I'm saying, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
He was tweeting.
He's tweeting things that didn't make any sense.
He was living in an alternate reality.
But the question is he just being slick and sort of sly and trying to manipulate what's coming out, thinking that people aren't watching the hearings, or is he just delusional?
I think he's pissed off that he's not there. He wants to be there to defend himself. But if he were actually there, he wouldn't have anything to say because he doesn't know anything.
And I actually think, I think you're right. I think your cue about being manipulative. I think the thing is, remember, he views Twitter as his means of getting around the mainstream media.
Yes.
So he views it as, that's my way. So you know what? He's banking on people not watching the hearing, and they're not paying attention, and his version of the story is what's actually happening.
The alternative facts
problem
of the
is
hearing.
People are tuned in, though, because they're concerned about Russia intercepting our democratic process.
You think
so they're paying
his
attention.
Trump supporters care?
I do, because I would see on conservative media, I was following on Twitter, and they were saying, hold on, that's not what's happening. And they were defending, because there are a lot of conservatives.
They were defending what?
They were defending Comey and saying, no, pay attention. We are concerned about potential
And these are
Russian
Trump
involvement.
voters?
These are Trump voters. I've heard from a lot of Trump voters that have come to me and said, I like some of what he's doing policy-wise, but I'm very concerned about potential collusion with Russia and interception in our democratic process.
His lowered 37% approval rating.
But I also think he's banking on the fact that they're not listening closely enough, because his tweets are just enough off that they mean different things. They said there's an investigation of Russian, meddling in the election. The thing they're not saying is that they don't know how it would have affected the outcome.
Right. And they've always said that.
Right. But the thing is, I think he's trying to manipulate the two to put them together and say, see, that wasn't the case.
The bottom line is, nobody wiretapped your ass.
Which was the diversion.
And that was, you know, so maybe, Sean Spicer, I know you don't get this, but perhaps an apology to the former commander-in-chief for accusing him of a federal crime.
Of a felony.
But the problem of a felony.
Of a felony.
The problem for me is when you know you're wrong, when the FBI, CIA, KFC, LMNP, this didn't happen, and you double down on the lie.
Yeah.
Because if it means an apology, he's going to go down with the lie.
And he will never apologize. But you know what the big takeaway for me is that the Trump administration is under a criminal FBI investigation.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so significant. And what's interesting is I started looking at and revisiting all those times that Trump surrogates said you can't elect someone under FBI investigation. Remember that was a big thing with Hillary?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio said, can this country afford to have a president under investigation by the FBI? Think of the trauma that would do to this country.
Yeah.
Now what is Marco Rubio saying?
I'm traumatized, Marco. I'm traumatized.
One of the things that's bothering me about this whole thing is that I don't trust Comey.
You don't?
No. He said yesterday that he was investigating the Russian connections in July. He never said that publicly, but he did say they were investigating Hillary's emails, and he turned the election around. I don't like that about him.
He got a lot of backlash for that, though.
Well, he should. And then this guy Nunez, I believe it's Nunez. Nunez, who's on the investigation team, along with this guy Adam Schiff for the Democrat versus Republican, he said, you know, he doesn't know who Roger Stone is. Now, I think he's lying. I think he's a liar, because Roger Stone was a consultant to the Trump administration. Roger Stone is a little bots, as we say in my old neighborhood. Roger Stone has a tattoo of Nixon on his back.
Wait, what's a little box?
A little bots, crazy. A little bots. You don't know the
Bots.
word?
B-O-T-Z. Yeah,
okay.
B-O-X.
I think
Okay.
Un poquito loco.
let me say that bots is probably a Sicilian dialect. There must be a real word in Italian for it.
Yes, but you can't say it live on television.
Okay.
Let's go back to the box.
Anyway, I don't think that these people should be investigating this. I think they need a special prosecutor. Somebody.
They need that, but I'm actually happy with Comey. I'm happy with him because he's proved himself to be
Better than you thought.
Well, I know that I didn't like what he did with Hillary. You know,
No.
but now to me, I see that he's not dealing with whether he likes you or not. He's dealing with the law.
Well, that's
trying
always
to be
been his
consistent.
reputation.
And that's what I see. I didn't like what he did, but for him, he was acting within his law. The rest of these folks, I don't know what the hell's going on. But the compulsive tweeting is one of the many things concerning people. And Deepak Chopra is the latest person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After
to
Joy Behar.
ask that you know who undergo like mental evaluation.
Yeah.
Because people feel, you know, people are concerned about the fact that in face of facts, what does this mean if he sees on Fox News, say, that, I don't know.
That your microwave is surveilling you?
No.
That's Kellyanne.
Yeah, that. They've already done that one.
Kellyanne.
But name a country.
Albania.
North Korea.
Albania.
Albania.
So they see on Fox News, perhaps, that Albania is done something terrible.
Yeah.
Right? He then finds out that it's fake news. But he's going after Albania anyway because he saw it on Fox News. So now how do we stop him from dropping a bomb somewhere if he cannot appreciate the fact that they have proved it not to be so?
Well,
that's a concern.
Article 4 of the 25th Amendment of the Constitution says that the president can be removed by 2/3 of a vote of Congress if they find that he is incompetent. And so, I mean, it's something that's never been used before.
Well, he has to stop.
Never
I've
been
said for a
used,
long
but-
time, very dangerous, this tweeting, because not only do you have to worry about what he may do, but you're dealing with allies, you're dealing with enemies, you're dealing with people who may read those tweets and say, you're jeopardizing my money, my relationship with other countries.
Forget about the tweeting. It's about the facts. If Comey has said, they've all said this hasn't happened.
Right.
Yeah.
He's doubling down on
He's
the fact that he
paranoid. He's got it.
believes.
But is it
well,
paranoid?
that's-
That's very Nixon-esque.
well, this is delusion to me.
Yeah, but it's also that's how he won the election, because there were a lot of things about his record that many people on the right, center, left were all calling attention to and saying maybe this isn't your guy, and he won by giving people an alternate version of realities. That's where his success
He
was.
won.
does
Well,
he
we don't
feel
know
like
it.
he's
We don't
counting
know
the video
why.
game?
We
Joyce
don't
always
really
said
know
no.
how he won.
Well, that's how he won the
You know,
primary.
just
I'll
say
tell you
I believe that an alternate, what's the word, version of reality is called psychosis. I think that's what the definition
Well,
is.
that's the point. You know, that's the point.
Or he's just become a really good politician, and he
No,
recognizes
wait, listen, when you're the president of the United States and someone, have you ever seen Fail Safe? It's a great movie with Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda is the president. He has to say to the guys who are flying, they are about to go bomb someplace in Russia, I believe it is, and they discover that it's not, he needs to call them back. He can't get them to come back because they don't believe him.
Right.
Okay, so when you look at something like that and you think, okay, if we can't depend on you to say we need to press this button because you've actually moved it in your head and you've talked to the right people and you've gotten the facts, if you're not going to get the facts, you shouldn't have the codes.
But you know, let me ask you something.
shouldn't have the code.
Let me ask this counter. At what point do you think that the Republican Party will see that this guy is, until he's drooling at the Oval Office,
I'm concerned.
as he's wearing a tinfoil hat? When will they say, hey?
When you replace them, and when you replace those congressmen and senators who are not listening.
I know, but it's going to take us 2 years.
It's going to take 2 years, but it's going to take us 2 years to find the Republicans that are smart enough to say, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't agree. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like what y'all do, but this is not making sense.
We're in the
And
minority,
somebody
unfortunately.
who's not going to be pushed. You know, like those two wonderful women who said, we don't want Betsy DeVos. Here are all the reasons we don't think this is a good idea.
They're
they
out there.
pushed her anyway.
They're out there. They're just.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, let's stand up so we can find y'all. We'll be right back.
Later, Tim Allen outrage. Why his controversial comparison about being a Trump supporter in Hollywood is under fire. This week on The View, we've got some Tell 'em Whoopi big hot topics. And that's not the only thing hot around here. Because our political view heats up with Rachel Maddow. What's she saying about the president's tax returns now?
Wait for that one.
And we're getting our funny on.
Hey, welcome back. So yesterday, little baby Sean Spicer defended the 10 golf trips that the current guy has taken in his 8 weeks in office. Each which costs about $3 million per trip to Mar-a-Lago. And how long has he been in? Like 25 minutes?
He's there for 2 months. He's been 60 days.
Yes, he's in 60 days. He's had 4,000 trips.
Yeah.
You know, and you just made a very interesting,
I was just saying he has spent nearly $10 million in taxpayer funds on travel in his first month as president. President Obama spent $12 million a year. That's significant to me, especially when we talk about the cuts in funding to Meals on Wheels.
We're going to get to that because there's Spicer says that this is just what happens when you're president and you take these trips. But I mean, it is eating up Lil Palm, where the city he's in. Where Mar-a-Lago is.
Oh, yes.
It's happening here as well, Palm Beach. And it's happening here. We're paying a lot of money.
You have the
We're
numbers
paying
for Melania.
$3.5 million a week to keep Melania in Trump Tower.
Taxpayers.
That's your money.
He ran as the people's president. That he was all about. He's a numbers guy. He kept saying, "I'm a businessman. I know numbers." As someone that's aware of all those things and donating his now it looks very small, $400,000 income to a charity, that doesn't even cover any Secret Service for a few days.
And I'll tell you why, because he's a phony. Because this is how you spot a fake fiscal conservative. He ran as a fiscal conservative. conservative. He's a phony.
Here's how they could work it out at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us what.
They always call it the Winter White House.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? That means it's the people's house. Right? So if they charge each and every one of us who go down because we want to walk through the people's house.
Maybe spend the night.
Maybe spend the night?
Yeah.
I don't think you can spend the night in the White House either. But I'm just
So
saying.
Lincoln bedroom,
But
we have
people
to know
should be.
somebody.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
People should be
That's
able
night
to
at the
walk
museum,
through. People should be able to walk through Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
If it is in fact a winter White House.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they charge to go through that winter White House could offset what Palm Beach is paying, what we're paying here. If
Maybe.
this is another White House for us, let's all just go and visit.
I wouldn't mind visiting.
The other thing that we're spending money on, I was reading today, someone can back me up, I think, the whole Trump family went on a ski vacation, and that's costing money also. So, you know, to just quote Mulvaney, that guy who said, why should the single mother in Detroit have to pay for people's food on Meals on Wheels?
Yes.
I say unto you, Mulvaney, why should the woman in Detroit, a single mother, have to pay for Hans and Fritz's vacation?
Yeah, right. And this is one thing, you know, Meals on Wheels, as I've said before, means a lot to me and my family. Trump has already spent enough on trips to Mar-a-Lago this year to pay for 6,000 people to get Meals on Wheels for an entire year.
Wow.
6,000 people, and that's where the cuts are.
Let me add this to you. You know, he's taking these golf course meetings and not at the White House. He's making sweeping cuts. And so here's what he's removing, as you know, public funding.
Yes.
Okay. So without that funding, here's what we would not have had. The Vietnam Veteran Memorial. Critical funding for plays like Rent, Sesame Street, the King Tut exhibit, and Alice Walker, because she got a grant to write The Color Purple.
Yeah.
None of those things would have happened without public funding.
Yeah.
So people aren't eating, and Sean Spicer also called Meals on, was it Meals on Wheels? He called it a cute program. He said, I know it's good to talk about cute programs like Meals on Wheels. Dude.
Come on.
You know,
The people who voted for him need to get with the program now, because
paying
you can
for him
see that you guys are not getting anything out of this.
He's also not intellectually consistent, because if you were someone who believed in fiscal responsibility and our debt and were passionate about that, and you were looking to cut things and dig into programs that people cared about, but you were also willing to cut your own expenses and not take these fancy trips, people could look at you and say, well, this is what he's about. This isn't what he's about. This is what he's about for you, but not for himself, which deeply bothers me.
Yeah.
yeah. But we did warn you.
We did.
We've been warning you. But, you know, there's, I guess we're going. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Still ahead, men exposed. Guys admit the wildest things they've ever done to impress a woman.
My name's Nick.
Come now.
Just because we think this is the silliest thing ever, there is something out there that is saying that men need booze in order to be social. They need to have...
Oh. One guy.
Thank you, Tom.
But apparently they think, and I know at this table that is a lie, but apparently they think women do not need booze to socialize.
I need booze to get through the news every night. That's what I need booze for.
I mean, men do tend to go to a bar and drink beer and hang out together.
Girls do that.
Right? I was going to say I do
But
it
I wonder,
too.
I wonder if it's more specific, like men might need alcohol to open up.
Oh.
Like, that would be a
That's right.
layer that could be a little deeper. If you want to be social, like, a little going deeper, maybe they do need that to
Now,
feel
what
a
does
little...
that mean, going deeper?
I mean...
I'm asking because...
Let me bring my wings to the table.
Are we talking about the, you know, if they're going to sit with each other and commiserate about stuff? Are we talking about to meet girls or to meet women at the bar? When you say going deeper, are we?
I think among men. I think if you want to get emotional, or if you want to talk a layer deeper about things that aren't going well or struggles you're having, those are very common conversations. And I might be painting with, broad.
We're doing broad strokes.
But like for women, I think it's very common, even in passing, to talk about, oh, I'm not feeling great about this. I think maybe it takes a little more for a man to open up about, hey, I'm struggling with this, or something's going on. And again, I know there's some men that doesn't suit, but maybe that's what they mean.
I don't even think with alcohol they go there.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Do they have those
You and I know very different men, because the guys you know are talking about sports.
I'm older than you. That's
No, but
why.
the
The men
guys
of my generation, they taught sports.
Really?
My
Yeah,
father
see, my dad is like
grunted,
that.
whatever.
My dad talks sports, keeps it very simple, but I feel like the younger generations, they
my
get
father
deep.
gets deep.
Men go deep.
Max,
Some men go deep.
gets very deep.
And
He
they don't need
talks about
alcohol
things.
for that, though. Like, it's funny because when I read this, a lot of my female friends, actually, whenever we make plans, I don't drink just because I don't like the taste. Unless I'm on a beach
She
and I have a
doesn't drink
daiquiri.
at all. We were
I
hanging out in
don't drink.
Disney. No drinks.
I went on rides, I ate, I didn't really drink, but a lot of my female friends are always like, what are we doing tonight? Where are we going to drink? And I'm like, it's like the first thing that gets mentioned is the alcohol, and it's often from my girls.
A proper cocktail.
Girl!
A nice little proper cocktail from a proper mixologist can open up the floodgates.
I had to sit.
we had a great sorry, honey. We had a great conversation and over the cocktail.
Over
I
a
was
proper
there.
cocktail.
I was at this conversation. I don't know what they were talking about. It went very deep into drinks.
It went like 15 years back.
Do you think that these men that you're talking about just do it because you're a woman? They talk to you about their feelings, but when they get together, it's like a
Jen's
relief.
kind of a
No, you know
dude.
what it is?
Relief from talking about their feelings.
I think it's like I'm drawn to that kind of person, male or female, that goes deep.
He goes deep.
Oh yeah, my guy goes deep. Yeah. Help me, someone help me.
Don't put me on camera. That wasn't me, y'all.
Let's ask Brian. Brian, come on, you're a man, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I think.
Come on, Brian.
What? What's the thought?
Do you talk about your feelings when you're bombed?
Listen, when I'm out with my friends and having drinks, I don't want to talk about my feelings particularly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're with your wife, she insists upon it. Am I right?
Yes, endlessly.
There you go. So
Yes.
I've got
But
that.
so I should have pondered. I should have asked you this question, not them.
Because we don't know.
When you guys go, when men go out,
Yes.
is the drinking, according to this thing,
A
is the
lubricant?
drinking to make it easier?
Yes.
Now, you know, alcohol is never a lubricant for anything because it's a drying agent.
Floodgates.
But you know what? We'll be right back. It's all right. Never mind. We'll be right back. We were going to leave this alone, but we're not. Now we're talking about men and booze, and maybe the booze gives men courage to do some of the ridiculous things they seem to do to impress women. A guy in Australia jumped into the crocodile-infested waters to show off for his girl. Dummy. I mean, it's like, and I guess, he recovered, but you know, we don't know what he lost when he jumped in that water. We don't know what a crocodile got. Because remember, Captain Hook lost his hand.
Yeah, that's very true.
Tick-tock, y'all.
That's just crazy.
That was crazy.
What's the weirdest thing a guy has
Sonny
ever
and I
done?
would dump this guy because he's too stupid to go
That
out.
would be crazy to
And
me.
he jumps into the
Plus, you're so risk averse.
I'm so risk averse. I wouldn't like that. No bueno.
So that's nuts. But I was looking at the list here, and Steve has done nothing to impress me.
Your ex did, though. The poem writer.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
But he wasn't my ex. He was just a
fling.
Just
he was
a person.
fling.
He was a fling.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Yeah. But lately, Steve is saying, you know, he always used to watch football. He's like, you know, I'm not really that interested in football. And yet on Sundays sometimes I'm watching a movie, and he's in the other room yelling, yes, yes. Now, is he having an affair or is he watching football?
Watching football. He's watching football.
Pigskin's back.
But what
So he lied to me. So he is still interested in football, is my point.
Yeah,
so
he
that
does
would be
like
the
it.
only thing on
Unless
this
you
list.
see what he's doing, you can't make that judgment.
You know what
Well, it is in the same house.
But you have to go in the room to see why he's saying yes, yes.
well,
You never
what I
did that.
liked was they say that men will not break wind when their partner is around.
That is ridiculous.
Because, well, you know what?
More room out than in. If you can't handle a fart, you can't handle me. I'm sorry.
That is a quote.
I do not pass wind in front of my husband.
Do you actually think he thinks you don't pass wind?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He's got a cork for you that he's had for years. Listen, you can, I understand some people think it's not good, but let's not pretend that you're not passing it when you need to pass it.
I mean, I will tell you, I hold it in to the point of pain.
No!
So as not to...
You know he knows that you do it.
No, he doesn't know.
Manny.
Safe fart.
Can somebody make sure, put my face so I can see it, so I can talk to Manny. Manny, your wife farts. And let me tell you, Manny, how deep it is. She can fart in Spanish. She can fart in English.
In legalese.
Yiddish. And she can fart in Yiddish. I'm just telling you, she's a farter.
Those damn veggie patties.
Your quote needs to go in some book of quotes. If you can't handle a fart, you can't handle it.
It's true.
That
Do you
should be
fart in
Teddy
front of your
points
men?
out.
You know what I find about guys, though? They don't do... Sarah farts.
No, I
have to.
do. I don't.
What am I supposed to do? Hold it in and then leave the room?
Pain.
I used to have a friend that used to hold it in.
Low on this show.
Leave the room.
Hit it.
Oh, no,
And then
I feel we're
spray.
going lower. Hold on.
Okay.
No, but she used to. I had a friend. She used to hold it in, leave the room, and then spray all around her body, and come back into the
Absolutely.
room stinking of that perfume. And he used to be like, "That stinks." I think he would have been better off with a fart.
No.
I'm serious.
I don't even want to tell her that these sounds happen, not sometimes voluntarily. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe Manganiello, a.k.a. Hefty Smurf, and I'm here to talk about my new movie with Joy Smurf, Sarah Smurf, and Sonny Smurf, right after this.
Yeah, the topics here are hot and only getting hotter.
Here we go.
Because this is the place where strong women...
Tracy Ellis Ross making history. It's very nice to relive that moment. I felt so rooted for.
come to be heard and voice their view.
We have got to stay connected to each other.
Smart, funny, fearless women.
You talk about your weight a lot. You're a very normal-looking girl. In fact, a little bit thin.
A little bit thin's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, so thank you.
We are Few Strong all day long.
Love us or hate us, you're not going to hear.
Like so many of you, I've been a fan of Joe Manganiello's body of work from Magic Mike to True Blood, and now he's joining a cast of characters that's close to my heart in Smurfs, The Lost Village. Please welcome Joe Manganiello. Would you believe us if we said they do that for us every day?
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Wow. Hi, everybody.
Doing that special for him.
Yeah. You've never been here before,
I know.
right?
Do you like it when they carry on like that, or what?
Jeez, wow, thank you. My first time here. So that was nice.
Well, as you can see, you know, there are a lot of women out there who'd like to get a piece of you. But you happen to be married to the lovely and talented Sofia Vergara. But I have a question for you, because we were talking about this before. We were talking about what men will do to impress women. What do you do to impress Sofia Vergara?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm a pretty romantic guy.
Yeah?
So,
Thanks, like we needed another thing.
no, but you know, it's like I waited my whole life to find the right person for me, and now that I found her, I like to let her know that.
Yeah.
All the time.
So what do you do? Flowers?
Yeah, just, you know, random flowers here and there, and then when the big dates happen, I like to go all out.
I
Yeah, but
read.
the list is like this. Have you stopped swearing? Do you maintain a tidy house?
Do you not break wind in front of her?
I was wondering if you were going to go there. Yeah.
Do you
question.
Tell
trim
us
your
about
body?
it.
I mean, any of these? Do you write poetry or anything like that?
You wrote a book for
Well,
her.
I wrote a book for the first anniversary of our first date.
A book about it?
A book.
40 pages, count them.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a graphic designer, and he helped me lay it all out. I had been saving all these texts and pictures that we had sent to each other, and even like I had a picture of like the table that we ate at during our first date. Like so it was a history of how we
How long did
met
you
and
know
fell in
each
love.
other?
6
months.
Well,
No.
we
Kidding.
We're coming up on 3 years together, but we had just like kind of bumped into each other, seen each other out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I really hadn't seen anything she had done acting-wise, and she really had never seen anything I was in. So it wasn't like that. It was I would just see her out and kind of go, okay, that's me likey.
Yeah.
That's me.
Well, you recently celebrated your 40th birthday, and through an epic Joe-Chella themed party, you had quite the guest list: Fergie and Josh Jamal,
Yep.
Dennis Rodman,
Yep.
Pee-wee Herman,
Yeah, of course.
and we hear you even sang a little Backstreet Boys.
I did. Steel Panther, who's like, if you don't know about Steel Panther, they're the greatest band in history. Like they think they're in the 80s. And they do this kind of, it's like half comedy routine, half like just shredding every favorite 80s metal song of all time. So they did an 80s metal version of I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys.
Which is your big song. I mean,
Which was my big number, at one point. And I got thrown up on stage and sang with them. And what was crazy was the director of Magic Mike XXL, Greg Jacobs, who was at my party, was in the crowd filming me. So my director's filming me doing another
for a second time.
Backstreet Boy routine, yeah.
But you didn't bring the Cheerios.
The Cheetos, yeah.
Or Cheetos.
No Cheetos, yeah. There was some water balls.
Okay.
So let's talk about this new movie, which, you know, considering your body of work they were screaming about, your body of work doesn't exactly scream Smurf. It's more Murph.
Murph. Like the workout Murph?
Yeah.
With the weight vest, yeah.
Sorry, it doesn't scream Smurf. I can't even say it.
But you are in the Smurf movie. It's fantastic.
I am, yes.
It's fantastic. How would you get involved in a film like The Smurfs?
Well, I got a call from Sony, and after doing all of these adult-themed projects, I think that everyone was cheering about. You know, I have a niece who's 2.5, and I have a nephew who's 2, and they're not going to be able to see anything Uncle Joe has done.
Not yet. No, not
yet.
Maybe forever. and so for me, it was really important to do something that they could see. And I'm also on the board of trustees for Pittsburgh Children's Hospital. And I go back to the hospital. Thanks.
So let's watch a clip. Can we watch? You want to finish that thought, though?
Oh, no, I was going to say, and I go back to the hospital all the time, and the kids have no clue who I am, which is not why I do it, obviously, but it would be nice if I could do something like this to bring back to the kids, and I got to do that last week.
So let's watch a clip. Yeah. I'd like to see
Let's
it.
all go have some fun.
So cute.
And you're hefty.
I'm Hefty Smurf.
You're Hefty Smurf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you may not know this, but last October I was Smurfette for Halloween.
Oh, yes,
that's right.
you know.
So if you want to discuss
Oh, my God.
this. But before we go.
Wait, there was a Halloween that I painted myself red. And for like a week afterwards, I looked down at the shower drain, and it was like pink.
That stuff will work its way out for about a week.
Yeah, okay.
Shades of green and blue and everything. But before we go, we've got a quick lightning round.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Okay.
Speed is the key here. Ready? Biggest fear?
Probably being publicly humiliated.
Hidden talent?
I do lots of voices and impersonations.
Most annoying habit?
I have none. Ask my wife.
Oddest job? Oddest job?
Oddest job, at 16 years old, I used to get hired to dress up like Captain Morgan and get people drunk at bars.
Last person you texted?
This guy who, called the Dwarvenaut, who makes scaled-down Dungeons & Dragons models.
Oh.
Wow, you're a gamer?
There you go.
That's very nerdy and cute. Guilty as pleasure?
Sofia Vergara.
Not guilty at all. We love Naked and Afraid.
Okay.
We love that show.
Sounds like my first marriage.
I'll set him up.
He was naked, I was afraid.
Okay. And on that note, a big thank you to Joe Manganiello. Smurfs: The Lost Village is in theaters April 7th, and everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of the companion book. But before we go, we've got one last rapid fire question. Go-to karaoke song. Oh. Just kidding. I already know. Go.
Tell me why.
Sing it.
There we go.
Nothing but a mistake. Tell me why.
Tomorrow, Rachel Maddow hits the table live to take you inside the controversy over her exposing Trump's tax return and if she'll do it again. And does the original love story teach you everything you need to know about relationships? New York Times bestselling author Bruce Feiler talks about Adam, Eve, and us.
Oh, hey. Yeah, 24 seconds, huh? Well, it's been great having you in our house. Thanks for letting me in your house and letting us in your house, and we want you all to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon.
Are your kids financially ready for the future?